Hi guys, today I'm going to do a review on the International 2+2 tractors. And I'd say I'm pretty knowledgeable about it because my grandpa, we ordered our 3588 in 1981, brand new from the factory. So our family did get to see them since they were brand new. And we actually owned two of them. We had a 3588 and we also owned a 3788. So yeah, like I said, in 1981, Grandpa went ahead and he ordered in that brand new 2+2 3588 International, and he used that for many years. Back then, we used to always use the cultivator in front of a 14-foot press drill, and that's how he would put in his crops. And then in 1997, he bought his second field tractor, and that was an International 3788 2+2. And so then at that time, Grandpa, for his 3588, he ended up buying a Case IH 8600 air seeder. It's a disc drill, and I'm not sure how many bushels they have behind them, but they're not too heavy or nothing because it's just the tank that hooks up to your tractor, and then it's got the wings that fold up, and it does have track busters on it. And then for the 3788, my grandma would drive that ahead of him, and she was pulling a 26-foot John Deere disc, and that worked out good for them there. And so yeah, that 3588 growing up, I really hated it from as a kid because I remember Grandma and Grandpa would get in it, and it's what's nice about them is on each side it's kind of got these cushions here that are kind of sloped, and us kids could sit on them as a passenger because we loved riding around the tractor with my grandparents all summer when they were doing summer follow. And then back behind you, there's the whole like deck for all your little kids to sleep. And of course, us three boys, we would sleep back there. So it was really nice. And growing up there in the 90s, I was born in the 80s, but riding around with them in the 90s, the air conditioning never worked in either of those 2+2s. So we always had the side windows open, and there'd just be dust in there. But you always dreaded whenever you'd have to stop to take a pee, because to get that transmission into gear, you kind of had to let out the clutch on it a little bit, and it would always grind into gear. And I talked to one of my buddies at college when I was going to be a diesel mechanic. I was just complaining about my grandpa's 2+2s that both of them just grind into gear, and he's like, they've done that since the factory. He's like, I don't know if his family had the 2+2, but they had the other models of tractors of the Internationals back then too. And I actually visited with my grandparents after that too, and they said, yeah, our 2+2s, they've ground into gear ever since they were brand new. But they're very you can use them for so much. Like both the Grandma and Grandpas, they both had the 3-point hitch on the back. They both had dual PTO on them, so you had 1000 PTO and 540 PTO. And then pulling that darn hood up open there, it has to come all the way forward. That was always a pain in the butt. Like to ever add coolant, for some reason I remember that it was always kind of a pain in the butt to if you're ever low on antifreeze, because I don't know if that hood slid quite all the way forward. Because I know we did, our family anyways, we didn't set it on the ground or nothing. We just had it suspended up there when we slid it forward, and I think that we did have that it was never fun adding engine coolant into it. And as for the horsepower, I believe on tractordata.com, I think that it was like 150 horsepower for the 3588. And then the 3788, I believe, was like 175 horsepower or 170, or right around there. And let's see what else on there. Yeah, so looking back on it now, I kind of like them again, but like I said, as a kid, I didn't. And where I'm seeing them out here in the farming community in the Midwest, I don't see them pulling tillage tools anymore. Everybody I talked to, they bought them as hay tractors because they are so cheap on diesel fuel. So I talked to one guy down in Senex. He's got a 3588, and he pulls his hydro swing with it. And then one of my other buddies, he bought a newer style of 2+2. Like my grandpa's, both of ours had the white cab on them. Whereas if you get that newer one, they have the red, I believe it's a red or a black cab on them. And those are called like 6588s or something like that. It's just a newer series. I don't know if they have a newer transmission, but like I said, I'll just kind of stick to the 3588 and 3788 that we had. And yeah, they just let's see here. Grandpa, he actually sold the 3588 with the air seeder because when he retired, a guy came and looked at the air seeder, but he's like, I don't have a tractor to pull that 8600 Case IH air seeder. So my grandpa ended up selling the 3588 with it, since it already had the monitor box in it. He sold it to the guy for $2,500, and I think he got $2,500 out of the air seeder or whatever. And I was kind of mad because he didn't tell me about it. So I was like, Grandpa, I'll buy your 3788 from you. So I think I paid like $3,500, and I was like, why are you charging me more? And he's like, well, it's the bigger tractor or whatever. And when he had bought that 3788 from the dealership, that one actually came with duals in the back. And I have heard about that some people put duals on the front, but my stepdad, he told me that don't ever do that. He's like, Case IH won't even warranty it if you did that it was just too hard on the you could tear out your transmission or your front or rear ends on them and stuff like that. So so yeah, we just pulled off the front duals and set them as spare tires, and we never even did end up needing them. We always had chloride in the tires, and but yeah, they and then as for Grandpa's other uses for them, we just had two 300 bushel grain trucks. So he would hire a truck driver that I think he had like 4 axles under the back end of his straight truck, and he always brought his evacuator out because we didn't have bin sweeps out at our farm. And they used our 3588 or 3788 with 1,000 PTO to run the grain back to go into there, which we had a 5250 Case IH front wheel assist, way newer than those. That was a 93 model, I believe. And that's 112 horsepower, and obviously, and that one has dual PTO on it too, but obviously that wasn't enough horsepower for running the grain evacuator. They must require quite a bit. So, but yeah, looking back on it now, I kind of wished I went to sold that one of Grandpa's. Like it would be really handy to have, just with how cheap a tractors they were, just to have the 3-point and the PTO on there, because then you can use it for the post hole, digging post holes and all that. But as of right now, I've got a 1981 John Deere 8640 with a 3-point and PTO on it. So I am fine there for for the postal diggers. And yeah, I'm just trying to think of anything else I could tell you guys about them, because I just don't want too many people to die off. That to tell you about how they were from new and everything of having them go through the life cycle from being brand new through a family. But yeah, my grandparents really liked them. And other than, the transmission did go out on that 3788 one time. I think I was with my grandma too, actually. She was summer following, and with that 26-foot disc. And we just heard a quick grind or whatever, and the chisel plow was to stop out there in the field. And they had to call it that. We didn't go through Case IH because they were so busy. One of the head mechanics there, he quit there to start his own repair shop, and my grandparents really liked him, so we always tried to give him business at his new repair shop. And yeah, he said the transmission went out, and actually I think it might have been during the summer that it went out or whatever, but he must have had quite a waiting list, because I remember my grandparents were so stressed out because they said that Dean, he knows that we need to have this tractor ready for planting season. We need it like right now when planting season is coming up. So it must have been at his shop like all winter long. And yeah, they were very getting pretty nervous or whatever. And then I remember when he did get it all fixed up for it, my grandpa had me drive it. We drove there with the car, and he just followed me as I went down the highway with it. So just kind of kept it off to the shoulder of the road, halfway out on the shoulder, and he's like, you did a good job once I got home, the 25 miles that it was to drive that 2+2 on the highway all the way home. So yep, and just had an AM FM radio. I don't know if we even had a cassette player in there. Grandpa always listened to what is it? Oh, the swap shop. That was always Grandpa's program. People would be calling in that they got some pigs for sale. Other people would be like they have some egg cartons for sale or giveaway for anybody off the farm that's selling the eggs from their chicken for $1 a dozen. And yep, good times in there. So yeah, I'll probably just leave it at that because, like I said, as of right now, I can't think of any more, too much more for memories for you guys on that. So, all right, take care.